The keynote address. He is the great son of the great father, the founder of MES, Dr. Abdul Ghaffur, the person with 1,000 tongues who acts as a sharp sword for the upliftment of Muslim education society all over the country in international and national level. He is the president of Muslim Education Society. He is a graduate of Osmania University. He was elected to his position in March 2007. He is the strong pillar behind the success of MES institutions. Yes, it's our dear most Sir, Professor Dr. P.A. Fasal Ghaffur, the President of MES. I invite Dr. Professor P.A. Fasal Ghaffur to inspire our minds by his keynote address.
Respected Education Minister and good friend of the Muslim Education Society, Sri Abdur Rabb, President of today's session, G.D. Sharma, Professor Hussain Nandatani, Abdul Samad Samadani Sahib, K.T. Jalil Sahib, principals, academicians, and teachers. At the outset, I would like to thank your organization for having selected our institution as the venue for this grand academic gathering. I have listened to the speeches of both G.D. Sharma and our eminent Education Minister. Before passing comments on that, for the benefit of the principals and other accommodations who have come over here, briefly I will introduce the Muslim Education Society. The Muslim Education Society is the biggest educational setup of the Muslim community in India. Probably it is the biggest educational setup in India. That I am saying probably. At present, having more than 1 lakh students and teachers, 28 colleges, all of them affiliated to the various universities and approved by AICTE and Medical Council of India, including Medical College, Dental College, etc., and 70 schools. It has been the forefront of the educational movement in Kerala, and it caters to all sections of the society, including the non-Muslim community. Hence, I feel that our opinion regarding the various matters which are being deliberated here will be taken into account by this august audience. Because we have hands-on experience in almost all the fields which are being discussed today. I personally do not feel that the picture is as rosy as being presented today. Because quantity does not make up for quality. Nor does statistic figures make up for progress. Statistically, you may be reaching a particular goal, but that does not mean that the goal has properly been achieved. It has probably been achieved only physically, but not mentally, according to me, being a neurologist. There are a lot of problems in the path which is in front of us. The Honorable Education Minister has said that the government is setting a path for this. Let me warn you, sir, that the path is not only dangerous, it is also treacherous. Because I will tell you where the treachery starts. The treachery has started 10 years ago, when you had started the self-financing colleges in Kerala. You have quantity, but no quality. No, that you are not responsible. The issue is that we have a number of issues in front of us. One of those is that of quantity versus quality. Now, in the state of Kerala, I will give one example. I don't want to elaborate too much. There are more than 100 engineering colleges. 20 years ago, there were only 5. Out of this 100 engineering colleges, the court in Kerala, the Kerala various court decisions, various government bodies, various syndicates have found out that 80% of these institutions are below par. 80% of the institutions are below par. Most of them are self-financing. So that means panacea for all these ills is not privatization. Privatization can be there, but privatization should be there with proper controls and proper academic controls. Similarly, privatization does not mean that there are some people living in America and England who are more intelligent than us and who are more academically brilliant than us and probably who are ahead of us in science and technology. No, sir. The issue is that those institutions are not going to come to India. I do not think that Stanford or Yale or Cambridge or Oxford, they are going to come to India. I have seen these shops, I call them shops. They are academic shops. भैया वो पान बेचने वाले दुकानों से भी खराब है. हमने खुद देखा है. I have seen myself many of these institutions because my son studied in one of those institutions. So I have personally gone there. I have seen the caliber of the academics over there, and I know what it is. So you have to be, that is why I said we have to be careful when you bring these institutions, because that will lead not only to academic debacles, but also to cultural invasion. There's a cultural invasion issue also going to, this is what you have to think of. Now, that is regarding, then the regulatory bodies. Sir, I do not have any opinion about the regulatory bodies in India because I have personally dealt with them. I do not want to tell you the stories of nepotism, corruption and bribery which is going on in these institutions. Various Supreme Court judgments have told us, has instructed us to, what has the Supreme Court said about the Ketan Desai case in the Medical Council of India? The Medical Council has been dissolved. What we are sitting in an engineering college. What did the court tell about the AICT? So we do not have any faith in the regulatory bodies. But we have faith in the government of Kerala. We have faith in the various syndicates here because at least they are local. At least they can ensure some amount of control. You take away those controls by setting up autonomous colleges, deemed universities, they will directly deal with these characters. Sir, I tell you, there is only one word to describe them. They are scoundrels. Because I know them in person. I do not want to name them. You also know them from the newspaper reports which you are reading. So, academic freedom does not mean that it should be tagged internationally or nationally. There should be a local control also. Local universities, local government bodies, they should have the control. Now slowly, the central government is taking over all the responsibilities. They have now introduced various entrance exams at various levels. I am warning you, these entrance exams are going to be the hub of commercialization. In Kerala, there is a PC Thomas. Only the rich people can go there. They write 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and then they get into the medical college. What is their basic merit? What is the basic merit? So if you hand over the reins of education to the central government institutions and allow them to conduct entrance exams, the far-reaching consequences are going to be bad. The far-reaching consequences are going to be bad. So this is also the state-center relationship in the education field also should be pondered upon. Tomorrow, it should not be that the federal system has been destroyed by handing over unnecessary powers to the central government. That is another issue. I am only just telling my opinion about this. These are the issues which are going to face us. Then there is the issue of reservation. Reservation in higher institutions. This is also an issue. Promotions in reservations. That is another issue. All these things have to be pondered upon at various levels. Because social justice, not only academic excellence should be there, there should also be social justice. The issues of the ST/SCs and the OBCs should be thought of when rampant privatization is going on. An example, Jalil. There are 5 engineering colleges. We had reservation in all 5. Now there are 100 engineering colleges, there is no reservation. Because mandatory reservation is not required. Similarly, promotions. Some people speak about merit going to the dogs. If you give promotion to the SC/STs, we do not believe in that. We believe that there should be promotions for the SC/STs, special promotion should be there. Special recruitment drive should be there as a part of social justice. That is another issue. Similarly, there is the question of minority status. I am not going to demand more and more minority status. I am going to speak about the misuse of minority status, whereby rich people who are probably doing good cashew nut business and orange business. They shut their factories. They start engineering colleges and medical colleges. And then they speak in the name of the community. They take 100 out of 100 seats, but they do not give a single seat to our community, the poor amongst our community. So what is the use of this minority status? The eminent politicians on the stage, they know my stand on all these matters. So minority status should be tagged with benefits to the poor amongst the minorities. A percentage of seats should be reserved for the poor amongst the minority communities. Then only minority status should be given. Just because somebody is running a minority status, see, Allama Iqbal, Samadani Sahib is here. He can put a big name, Allama Iqbal, and start a medical college. And then he can eat all the money someday. Koi puchne wala nahi hai. And you need not admit a single Muslim. That is the position today of the minority status. You need not admit, Jalil knows that fact. You need not admit a single Muslim. That clause has been removed. So that is another issue. On the contrary, in the state of Kerala, in the education field, the minority communities constitute the majority. In the higher education and other fields, 75% of all the colleges are controlled by the minority community. So is it fair that the minorities take 100 out of 100 and the majority takes only 50%? When the minority is in the majority in Kerala, there is another issue which we are facing here. We have the solutions for all these things. We have given the solution to the government to all these things. So I can go on and all. Then there is the issue of the syllabus and the curriculum. You know about the textbook controversy which we had. We regularly have this revision of the textbooks by the NCERT. During Arjun Singh's time, during Murali Manohar Joshi's time, during Kapil Sibal's time. At least we are happy that Palam Raju is a good man. He is a neutral man. Today's education minister, educated person. Son of former Minister M.S. Sanjeev Rao. Very good person. So we have such good people in the helm. So this means, now what I am trying to tell you is that in an era where there is rampant commercialization, rampant corruption, rampant communalization, these are the challenges which the academics are facing. So you have to use not only your academic brain, but you also have to use your social brain. The brain has got various compartments. We have a brain, portion of the brain for music alone, which I would like to develop, but which is not developing. Especially Mohammad Rafi and Kishore Kumar. So, now what I am trying to tell you is that there are the challenges in the education field challenges are very grave. I use the word grave because the social implications of these challenges are grave. Similarly, social justice also should not go out of the window. We should be pro-poor. We should be pro the downtrodden sections, who are the downtrodden sections, whether they are the poor amongst the forward castes, that is also an issue. That also should be solved. So I once again wish all of you, and I am very happy that we are on the stage. We have two intellectuals presented two intellectuals who are present on the stage, who are well versed with the problems of education and the social issues involved in Professor Jalil and Samadani Sahib. I am sure in their speeches they will also enlighten us about the various issues faced by us in the educational sector. Thank you.